God is not a vibe. He's not a mood. And he's not something you tap into when the crystals are charged and the lighting is right. But we've gotten really comfortable with a version of spirituality that's all aesthetics and no authority. We're trading convictions for quotes, truth for trends, and I'm not here to be deep, I'm here to tell the truth. This is the beginning of a conversation that I've been wrestling a lot with behind the scenes. A conversation about deception, false light, and the uncomfortable truths I've been learning about who God really is and who Satan really is. If you've ever felt like something was off about the spiritual content flooding your feed, then this is for you. Everywhere you look now, it's protect your energy. The universe is aligning for you. You are basically your own God. Even inside church circles, we're repackaging witchcraft and calling it wellness. We're doing rituals with sage, manifesting with angel numbers, charging crystals under full moons, and somehow saying it's all spiritual. But here's the truth. Not all spirituality is holy. Just because something makes you feel good doesn't mean it's from God. And we've mistaken spiritual vibes for spiritual truth. But God isn't interested in being your aesthetic. He wants to be your authority. And this isn't just something that I've noticed in the world. This is also something that I had to confront within myself. I started realizing that the version of God that I was taught wasn't necessarily the full version. And the version of God that I was taught was safe, it was marketable, but it was mostly incomplete. And so that led me to my own personal journey of discovering who God is for myself and the things that I found. So I started learning about books that have been removed from the Bible, and this is a little taboo, but it's definitely not a hidden secret or anything. I also started learning about the fallen angels. And one of the books that I've been reading lately is the Book of Enoch. I find it really interesting. I've been learning about the fallen angels and not the typical fairy tale version of fallen angels. We all know that fallen angels were basically angels that decided to disobey God, right? But what I've been learning about the fallen angels is that they were, first of all, actual celestial beings, right? Who had corrupted humanity. And not just metaphorically, they didn't corrupt humanity in this sort of Eve bit the apple bad vibes kind of way. They literally came down to earth and wreaked havoc. But that's a whole other topic for another video. I also been learning about the Sabbath and how the Sabbath was never actually changed by God, but it was actually changed by the systems that we live in today. And probably the biggest thing that I've come to learn lately, this is not going to be new for anybody who really knows and understands God and how things work. But the thing that I've come to realize is that Satan is not some red man with horns. He's not this picturesque version of evil. Satan actually shows up as your desire for power, your desire for peace, your desire for freedom without obedience. Satan is a sneaky little, he's got his name for a reason. Okay. I've come to realize that most churches skip over what happened between angels and humans. But if you ever decide to go and read the Book of Enoch, it tells you everything. How the fallen angels gave us everything that pretty much has caused us to lose relationship with God. They gave us war, vanity, abortions, seduction, sorcery, weapons, all of that. And you may be asking yourself, well, why does any of that matter? It matters because that same influence is still operating today. just with a better branding. And you've been hearing me use the word or the name Satan throughout this video. I'm going to continue to use it because it's the most common name for these fallen angels. But when I'm referring to Satan, I'm not referring to that stereotypical version or image of a little red dude with horns and a tail. When you hear me say Satan, I'm actually referring to the fallen angels that intentionally decided to defy God and corrupt all of humanity. Satan is just one term, but it actually refers to all of them. So Satan isn't trying to possess you, like a lot of media tries to portray. It's actually not the most common way that Satan will get you to defy God or destroy your relationship with him. What Satan really wants is to dilute you. He or they want to get you comfortable with counterfeit light so that you stop looking for the real truth. And like I said in the beginning, not everything that glows comes from God. Some things may feel peaceful, but it's only because they're designed to keep you away from God. They're designed to keep you passive. And I'm going to give you a really good example of one of the ways that Satan likes to keep people passive so that they are unable to build relationships with God. This is something that I've been practicing or trying to practice lately. It's very difficult with the systems that we currently have in place, but that is the Sabbath. And I can speak for myself. I don't know about many others, but in Christianity, it's not something that is talked about much or even practiced a lot. It is still something that's practiced within the Hebrew religion. But I'm going to share with you a little bit about the Sabbath, and I do encourage you to seek God for truth and clarity on what the Sabbath is and what He wants you to do with it for yourself. But what I've come to learn about the Sabbath is that, well, a lot, but for starters, as humans, we were designed to rest. Rest is a part of our spiritual design, right? One of my favorite lines from Jesus that actually led me to learning more about God is when he mentioned to the leaders of the Hebrew faith, but he was furious with them because they were forcing people to obey laws regarding the Sabbath.
A few moments later.
But essentially, Jesus said that man was not created for the Sabbath. Sabbath was created for man. God didn't create laws to control us. He didn't give us rules to force us into submission. God gave us laws and rules and guidelines to help us. And more importantly, the Sabbath was meant to honor our natural needs and desire for rest. And not just rest, but reconnection with Him. The Sabbath is supposed to be a time where you stop hustling and you realign yourself with God and His will. And the day of the Sabbath has been changed many times in history if you go back and look. Not just Sabbath, but this idea that we're supposed to go to church on Sundays actually originated from the Sabbath. Again, that's a whole other video. And God never told us to switch up our day of rest. Man did. And the moment that we started following this man-made calendar and stopped asking God for clarity, that's pretty much when everything changed. And I decided to do some research on what the actual God-centered calendar is meant to look like. I can't get into it into this video because this video is already long. But ever since I have allowed myself to seek majority of my clarity from God, so much of my life has changed. And I've come to the understanding that God is not just a vibe that you tap into on Sundays. He is the literal creator of time. And a lot of us are living a rewritten rhythm, completely going against what God created for us. And I understand that that's not something a lot of people have control over. I completely understand that, like, the systems are just... Anyway, I could go on and on and on about the many things that I have learned about God and what He has revealed to me about societal things, but I didn't intend for this video to be super in-depth. I really just wanted it to touch the surface, scratch it, if you will, that surface of truth that I feel like people need. So if this message stirred something in your spirit, let me know down in the comments. This is a topic that I absolutely love to talk about because I've always been fascinated with conspiracies, and I feel like that was really God's push for me to seek the truth myself. And so I love discovering the truth, and I love telling other people about the truth. If you want more content like this, if you want me to tell you more of what I've learned about God, if this is fascinating for you, if you maybe want some references so you can learn some things on your own, let me know down in the comments. I would love to share it with you. And I also want to know, what's one truth that God has shown you that challenged everything you thought you knew? And again, if you want me to do a part 2 and maybe go deeper into the book of Enoch, the Nephilims, the Sabbath, or anything that I discuss here in this video, you can let me know about that down in the comments below as well. But this is just the beginning of this conversation. Let's keep learning, let's keep testing, and let's keep honoring God with our whole minds. Until next Soulful Sunday, stay anchored in truth, not trends.